In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of Breaking Bread with Corey. Thank you so much for joining me and for your support. I have an exceptional guest today, a new ambassador to the industry, one that has a lot of flair and style. I love it. I love what he brings. And yes, it's actually my first male ambassador that I'm bringing on here at Breaking Bread, our honorary first male. It's kind of interesting because I've been so involved with International Women's Day and Women's History Month and really celebrating women in general. And now it's time to shift gears a little bit to another ambassador in the industry that we all want to support. But before that, I'd just like to say thank you for joining me. Excuse me. I really appreciate your support and time. And remember, we're all community here, and I really appreciate the community that you've brought and just the support. I really appreciate that. And today I'm actually going to be, as I'm drinking with our guest today, I'm going to be highlighting General Cellars, which is basically an all-women, women-owned, women-ran winery in California, in the Sierra foothills that produce their wines. It's a wine club, and it's all about women empowerment. You can find them at generalcellars.com. They have their web page is amazing. Loads of information from even online cooking lessons to just a lot of information that you're looking for as far as women empowerment just in general. And I'm going to be drinking their wine, their Chardonnay, their 2007 Chardonnay. I opened it yesterday with Vicky that I sat down with, and I'm pairing it with some fresh Honeycrisp apples, some dates, and some raw, basically raw walnut pieces to go with it. I like a lot of my pairings to be simple, non-complex, and it goes really well with wine. So it's a really great time. But without further ado, I want to bring on my special guest that we have today. Like I said, it's our first male ambassador that we're bringing on to Breaking Bread, and I'm so excited to be sharing the screen with this gentleman. We've been talking for quite a while. He was actually one of the first followers that I actually had, and we started communicating with each other from almost day one that I started my Breaking Bread page. And just what he brings, the flair and the finesse and the descriptors, if you gotta follow him on his page. And he does some amazing work, and you can tell that's a lot of love and passion when you have something like that as well as described on your page. It is pretty amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring our guest on. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Getting everything set up. Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hope everybody's well. All right. Let's see. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
All right. I'm just setting everything up, making sure everything looks good. Can you hear me well?
Yes, clear. Loud and clear.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest. His name is Abraham McDonald. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Abraham McDonald. It's honestly, first and foremost, it's been a pleasure to connect with you. And I really love and admire what you're doing, man. It's an amazing thing. We need more people like you in the wine industry with the passion and the love for wine. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot, and like I said, I think we've connected since day one, since I started getting my feet wet into this whole vision that I had.
Right. Right.
and you were very like all about it and very supportive, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the kind words that you have, and just to see what I see you do, your story, your development, and what you're bringing to the community. We need more ambassadors like yourself showing the love and the passion. It's just really great. Everything I love what you talk about, from the Justin bottle to a lot of your favorites. What is it? Is it La Madeira? What is the name of that natural? I'm trying to figure it out.
The company is
La Madia.
La
Media. From Italy, a natural wine. They do vegan wines. Absolutely awesome. And that's the thing, that you brought a lot of information for even a winery like that, maybe that's smaller in status, but you showed a lot of love as far as their rosés and their other varietals that you really love. And I dug it, but I dug the descriptors. How you're like, hey, this is your Friday night. Yeah. It's just sweet. I love it. So what got you, we all talk about our journeys, where we started, where we're going, where we're headed to. What got you into wine in general? What was the thing that just clicked?
Well, ultimately, it was my mother. My mother was a big Chardonnay fan. So I grew up always seeing it, always being around wine, always being exposed to it. And she's a very educated and cultured person. So I was always aware of like the implications and how important wine was globally and culturally. So that was my first. I mean, that was when I was younger though. So I didn't really get started like doing my own personal research until I was about 20 years old. I got my first wine book, full complete course by, I believe it was Kevin Zerali, who's a chef and a wine professional. And I just began studying. And the book had the breakdown from the countries to the grape varietals, all that. So I always had that passion for it. But it kind of started dealing with school, and I kind of put that on the back burner for a while. But I came back to it with, I want to say about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago, I started finding a lot of natural wine pages on Instagram. And I was really intrigued because they tapped into that kind of old vintage style of making wine, and I was really intrigued by that. And sulfites, not as many additives, and I was, especially with this eco-friendly movement we have going on the last couple of years, I thought it was really interesting to get into that. So, and then just the more research I did, it was, natural wine has a really immense cult following. So it's almost like the craft beer of the wine world in a sense.
Right.
So so I was just ultimately intrigued by that. I kind of like seeing that a couple years ago kind of re-sparked my passion for wine.
Isn't that the most interesting thing though? Because natural wine is this new trend, this new movement that everybody's starting to look at. Right. But it is really truly traditional winemaking method. If you date it back to the beginning, I didn't see it that way until I started digging myself and having conversations with people, and you start realizing, oh, that is the true way of winemaking. You look at the process, and it's like, oh my gosh. And so that is the greatest thing. So as far as that natural, what just clicked you to, besides just the story? Was there anything else that was it the taste, the whole eco responsibility that just really got you involved in that natural, like wanting to dig deeper?
It was definitely that. And also a lot of the pages they really made the pictures look good. They made them really aesthetically pleasing. So I'm all about aesthetics too. But it was just that mission statement, making just healthier wines, giving people healthier options, and then the way that they would describe them. Some of the pages would describe them as juice. as natural juice, as
Right.
fun, funky, fruity juice, and that was really intriguing. That, you know, I was really drawn to that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's what it was, and then I wasn't, you know, I was thoroughly pleased with it as I dug deeper and discovered more
Yeah,
wine. Yeah,
it's definitely, I compared it, you know, I hate to compare it this way, but I compared it to having natural peanut butter to Skippy. If
yeah,
you if you started off with Skippy, you're gonna know Skippy, and then if you go to natural peanut butter, it's gonna taste odd. But if
yeah,
you
yeah,
actually start like
mhm,
divvying it up, if you have a little bit more balance in your tasting, you'll start to realize, oh well, this is true 100% wine coming through. There's
exactly,
nothing added. There's
exactly.
nothing, you know, faltering it or anything like that. And that's the one thing that's really amazing about I really, for myself especially, I've just started experiencing it more recently.
Mhm, mhm.
And it's like anything in the wine industry, everything you constantly learn and things are starting to constantly evolve, especially with the natural winemaking, the biodynamic process, the whole vegan process of it. You know, you start to realize, like, wow, this is true wine in my glass. This is coming from
Yes,
this. This
yes.
is it. This is like almost like just squeezing it yourself and just going,
Hmm.
this is
Yeah,
it. This is it.
yeah.
This is what you get from the juices. That's
It's
really
really
cool.
nostalgic in a sense because I wasn't aware that they made wine that traditional way up until like the early 1900s. You know, that the way the traditional wine, the way they make wine now, that's more of a recent thing. You know, I
Right.
mean, I get it. You have to mass produce certain things. You have to give it longer shelf life, and you know those components come into it. But yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome. It's awesome. And for those, I see a few people just joining us. For those of you just joining us, please welcome Abraham McDonald, Waves of Grapes. We're talking natural wines, traditional winemaking methods, his whole journey into the wine industry. I'm honored and so excited to be sharing the screen with him. As I said at the beginning of this program, that he was one of my first followers and we connected right off the bat, and so excited to finally get this thing started. So you got into wine with your mom,
Hmm.
from your mom. You got that inspiration from your mom, and
Yes,
then you started
definitely.
seeking. So now, as far as where you're going now, where are you going now? As far as you're starting to go, as far as your wine journey now. And now you're looking at your natural. You like the natural wines and the traditional method. And I also saw that you like the old world and the new world. You know,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
from that.
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and just let me know. Like, let everybody know where are you going now? What are you going to be doing
Um,
now?
well, right now I'm just discovering and exploring as much as I can, natural and traditional wine. And so I recently started my exclusive wine Instagram page about, I want to say last August was when I started that. So I'm right now I'm just focused on documenting, learning as much as I can, critiquing to the best of my ability, and I'm just continuing to have fun with it. Have fun with it.
Right.
You know, I do plan on getting maybe a couple of certifications just to give me a little bit more credibility at some point. And I do want to be involved in the wine world on a professional level in some capacity in the future. But
Right.
right now, I'm just cruising right now, just having fun and trying my best to build community with different
That's
people, different
great.
wine drinkers, different wine lovers, and you know people who share the same passion as I do.
Absolutely. And this is a great place. This is a great area to kind of find the community. There's so many welcoming people. And I'm sure people, if you reach out more and more,
Mhm.
there's going to be people that are going to assist you more and more as far as what you need, as far as your journey, other
Right.
resources. It's, you know, that's the thing that's been so awesome is I've learned so much,
Mhm.
especially we got Vit Noir on there saying yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. You know, every person that I've met, including yourself,
Mhm.
is you take something from everybody and you learn new things, and
Right.
that's the best
Right.
thing, to have that openness about it, and that's going to move you way forward, moving
Mhm.
forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
And And those of you that are joining us, please, if you have a question for Abraham or myself, please go ahead and throw it in that little circle box with the question mark. We love to have questions. And so I know you're talking about doing, getting into the profession of, the industry, the wine industry itself. Have you started looking into like the wine set or the quartermaster sommeliers? Have you started looking into those programs?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely doing my research and just just figuring out which direction I want to go in. And just opening my arms for what the future holds. Really, there's so many endless possibilities. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's the thing is the growth of this industry. We need more ambassadors like yourself with the passion and love and the creativity. And that's the thing is, again, with your page, you have a lot of creativity in the explanation. When you bring simplistic terms, because not everybody's going to get cigar box or grandmother's closet. They're going to get, hey, I'm playing my Smokey Robinson by the fire with my wife or whatever. The terminology, the examples, the real life examples, the everyday examples are going to get you. And that's the thing that I feel like is really a great thing for you. That's a plus. That's a motivation for you, is that you have that accessible reach. Everything is reachable instead of going, I don't even know what this guy's talking about. And that's what's great. I love it. I know, let's see, wait. I know that you've been talking about the natural process, the traditional process of wines. So is there a particular region that when you started drinking wine, or a certain varietal that was just like, I know there's one I know that you really connect with, and you bring it up and, back and forth throughout your page. But is there one particular varietal that you get like that is just you're connected with?
Well, my favorite, I'm still discovering and building my palate, for certain things. But right now, I'm a huge Pinot Noir fan. If we want to stick to the red, and I love a good Sauvignon Blanc, especially from New Zealand, or I'm really into the Pinots from Oregon. There's so many. If you want to think about the old world, I love French wine, Italian wine. You can't beat Italian wine.
Yes. I know you were talking about Barolo. You were talking about Barolo in one of your posts.
Yeah.
And it's like, isn't Barolo just mind-blowing when you taste the Barolo?
Yes.
I mean, it's like, to me, Barolo's Christmas Day. When you open Barolo, you're going like, oh my God, what did I get myself into?
And I kind of stayed away from it because, traditionally they're more on the more expensive side. So I was able to find a cheaper one that was just as good, had really good reviews. So I was happy with that.
But you brought up a great retailer, and I always endorse it because I used to work for them. But Trader Joe's is a great resource for wines, and a lot of ambassadors that I see utilize Trader Joe's. They even shoot inside Trader Joe's at their wine section. But there's a lot of great secrets about Trader Joe's, and if you want to dig deep, you'll find some really interesting things about what they do, especially with their private labels. And so the consumer really benefits 100% out of all their wines. And so that is one of my go-to places. But their Barolos, if you find a Barolo, a Chateauneuf, if you get a Chateauneuf to pop from Trader Joe's. I happened to work at one where I was up in Northern California, and we got a shipment in, and the Chateauneuf retailed, I believe it was like $30 to $40.
Okay.
But it went on sale for $9 because the label was peeling.
Oh wow. Okay.
So Trader
Wow.
Joe's put it down to like $9.99 for a Chateauneuf.
Wow.
And so it's like, that's the thing, is you'll find certain things, and I'll give certain examples, but I won't
Mhm.
tell all the secrets. There's a lot of great secrets about Trader Joe's that
Mhm.
I learned from them, and I was actually mentored by the original buyer from Trader Joe's, so that's
Oh
how I
wow.
got to
That's
learn a
incredible.
lot. So that's the thing about your resources. You just meet people, and all of a sudden you start going, "Well, I didn't even know this," and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
you find out through this door that where they were, where they got all their information from.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great resource. I love what you bring. Now, what is, besides like Barolo and Pinot Noir and Sauvignon Blanc? Is there a particular region that is just like, man, that's
Mhm.
where I want to go? Like if I were to travel, that would be the first place, like your bucket list. Like if I want to go and learn about their winemaking process and see it firsthand, where would you want to go?
I don't necessarily have a specific region, but I do want to go to the country of France because when it comes to old world wine or traditional wine, that they're they've been doing so many beautiful things for hundreds of years, and they have a really big natural wine scene there, and they have
Right.
some great wine producers there that I study about or I see on some of my favorite travel channel food wine shows, and
Yeah.
I'm really like, ugh, I have to get there. I have to get out there and check that stuff out because it seems like that is like the epicenter of everything that's going on, and everybody kind of gets their inspiration from them. It seems like, and they just branch out, and now it's a worldwide phenomenon now. So
Absolutely.
it would probably be France.
Cool. That is something that we kind of have in common, because that's one of the areas that I first learned was French. I learned Rhone first, and then I just started discovering everything else, and it was really interesting because I basically learned the layout from cycling. I'm a
Oh.
big fan of cycling and watching the Tour de France, and so I would see it. And as
Mm,
I started getting involved in the wine industry, I started going, "Oh, well, this is where this is made. Oh, they're
yeah,
traveling,"
yeah. That's
and you get
exciting.
to
That's
see
really
it
exciting.
because they're concentrating on that area for so long,
Uh,
and they will talk about some of uh, the castles and all that stuff, but
mhm.
also the estates and the domains of that area, particular area, and you're going, "Oh my gosh, I want to go there." So
Right,
definitely
right.
France is on my bucket list to see. I think all everything is, it's the ancestry, are the forefathers of winemaking. You
Hmm.
look at the old world and you're going like, man, that's where I want to go. And so as far as the industry itself, you
Hmm.
know, um, I know you said you want to go and try to get as far as you can, start taking, certifications, getting your certifications, and being a part of the professional part of the
Hmm.
industry. Um, where do you see yourself? What kind of job would you like to go to as far as in the industry?
Well, right now, I'm definitely considering being some type of wine writer or a wine critic because I think that's where my power lies. So I love writing. I've always loved to write, and that's why I try to give people a creative explanation of the things that I choose. So I think that's where my power lies. So I think I do something in that. I would like to do that. Do some
That's
kind of
awesome.
wine critique job
That'd be awesome.
where
And
I'd be able to
everybody,
travel around and
yeah, that
I'd
would
be.
be killer.
Mhm.
And everybody's chiming in and saying, definitely look at the W set.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah.
offering you suggestions. This W set.
Mhm.
I had people chiming in on some of their favorite French varietals from Alsace and
Mhm.
Chenin. Have you
That's
ever
awesome.
have you had a Chenin before? Cab
No,
Franc?
I haven't. I
Oh
haven't.
my gosh! And so when I discovered Chenin too, I was just like, dude,
Hmm.
Cab Franc
Hmm.
at its. I always say when you go to the root, when you
Hmm.
see where it's actually like originated from, particular origins, the ancestry, it's like Oz dropping down the curtain and revealing himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
It is, Shannon is just, it's just badass. I love Shannon, and I wish we would see more of it on the shelf. They tend to be hard to come by. Everybody's like, I love it. Everybody's loving the Shannon. The Shannon is beautiful. It is just absolutely beautiful. Alsatian wine varietals, just in general, you get some beautiful whites coming out of that particular area. The whole old world region, if you're talking about Germany, Spain does a lot of the new world kind of hybrid. But if you talk about Italy, Germany, France, it's just beautiful winemaking and at its best. And I was going to ask you this. Have you found, when you started looking into natural wines, have you found that old world has stuck to that making method for a longer period of time?
Yes, it seems like it. From all the research I've done, it definitely seems like it. They've they kind of held true to those old traditions. And I think that's very important. I mean, of course, they kind of dabbled with the new methods, like everyone has, try to keep up. But yeah, I've definitely seen that as I've gotten deeper into my research. Yeah,
and I love that. I love how they bring just the mixture of terroir, the earth, to the climate, to everything from the vines to the process, not irrigating, letting I learned actually more in depth, how you talk about wine programs. I learned more in depth from Anthony Bourdain. I love Anthony Bourdain, and rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. But what an amazing ambassador to the industry, and what he brought, and just some of his episodes from France and Italy, and even Spain. He did this one episode where he went to, I believe it was an area in Rioja or it might have been, was it Rioja? Where they took onions, they cut the onions and they put them upside down, and the roots actually grew like upside down, so it became this like long, almost like this celery type thing.
Wow.
And what the Spaniards did is, they made this sauce, and they would dig up the onions, and they would dip them in this sauce, and they would do this. It was like this day. I forget the name of the day, but they would get these big old like tusk of wine, and they would just like drown themselves eating the wine while they're eating the onions.
Wow. I think I've seen that.
It was one of the best episodes. And Anthony Bourdain had like wine all over his face, and he was eating the onions. But it was such a great thing, and that's the one thing that I love about Old World too, is tradition. I mean, I think that's the main thing. So as far as the industry is going, where would you like to see? I know we talked about it back and forth prior to the show, but where would you like to see shift? I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. I know it's like a break, but where would you like to see the industry go? I've had, like I said, this past month, I've been really celebrating women and finding out how the industry has treated the female ambassadors, and not just the female ambassadors, but the women of color ambassadors in the industry. So where would you like to see, just in general, whether it's the female or male ambassadors of color in the industry, where would you like to see that go?
I would like to see them, well, first and foremost, I would like to see it more inclusive. I mean, we always have to start there, but I'm seeing now, within the last couple of years, a lot more people of color are doing their own wineries, creating their own labels, kind of forcing the industry to focus on them.
Right.
Sometimes you have to just get in there and take it, to a certain degree. But I would like to see more contribution, and people are becoming more privy to the knowledge. You know, as time goes on, people are seeing that wine is something special, and it is something that should be cherished and something that should be celebrated. And they're seeing it through that professional lens. And I'm starting to see more people. I'm starting to see more people pop up. And it's really a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing. You know, because as compared to like 2 or 3 years ago, when I hardly saw anyone of color, like, you know, on Instagram, you know, representing wine. But now it's just like the floodgates have been opened, and you know, it's really great.
Opportunity. I can't say it enough. Opportunity is happening, and I see movement and celebration going on, community going on, and it's so great to see within everybody. And it's you know, more barriers are being broken down, and we need to continue that foot on the gas, keep everything going, because and I think the other thing that we can do too is just consumers, you know, everyday wine drinkers, if we could go to our retailers and ask for it. You know, if there's demand, you know, if we all say, hey, where is this producer? Where can I get this producer? I had somebody tell me that she called several different retailers and asked for a list of Black and Hispanic wine producers. And she went through several retailers, and she couldn't find, out of any retailers, a lot of them only had maybe one out of the list that she had. And that's what I'm saying is, I think needs to be happening is if we continue to push that and create that demand, I think that is the thing. And you're right, let us celebrate our beautiful differences. I think that's the thing. We got to showcase that, because there's so many interpretations in the wine industry. And if you don't taste it all, you know, if you don't be open to it, you're gonna miss something that's really beautiful. You know, and I think everybody's producing something beautiful. And where would you like to be as far as in that part of it? What would you like to do to help? I know I said a few things, but how would you like to help endorse that, make that movement continue?
Well, I can definitely. Well, I feel like I'm starting to do it now. Just kind of exposing my peers to the wondrous world of wine. And you know, to a certain degree. Maybe marketing. Maybe. I definitely want to get my hands dirty though. I see myself working as well as the writing, but also really getting my hands on, like getting the hands-on experience on how to produce wine and what the steps and the levels are. That's. I mean, there's so many different ways to approach it, but I'd say that direction right there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And do you have now, as far as I know you talked about La Madia as far as the natural wine, the winemakers in Italy. Do you have any winemakers that you're just trending on right now that you're following, that you're drinking besides them?
Yeah, I like there's a good a really dope natural producer in Australia. They're called Getty in the Coconut. That makes some good juice. That makes some really good juice. I think I have 1 or 2 pictures on my page, but they're out of Australia. They're really good. Another one, it's like I guess this is like the godfather of natural wine. Frank Cornelissen. He does the Susucato and the Contadito and out of Mount Etna, I believe. Yeah, like those two. There's so many. It's like I'm blanking right now. Who else do we have? Another really good one. This is a Black-owned winery in Napa, Brown Estate.
Yeah, Brown Estate.
It's an amazing one. Has an amazing Zen. Actually, a friend of mine from the Bay. He actually chimed in on the live, but he's a friend of mine from the Bay. And he put me on the Brown Estate. Really introduced me to some great wine from them. So that was good. And the Brown Estate Zippendale stays in my rotation. Always have.
That's awesome. You know, I feel less fortunate. Because I'm in Oregon, and our Oregon laws are so restrictive. Because Oregon, they have their own little department where they control all the alcohol. So so you can't go to like in California how you can go to a grocery store or like a Trader Joe's and get your wine and spirits all in one. You have to go. You can go to your grocery store and get wine, but they don't sell liquor. They have a separate liquor store for that. So you have to go and try to find or ask for certain things, and they only like basically limit what is on the shelf, you know, as far as producers. So it's very restricted. Yeah, and it was really interesting coming out here because when you come from an area like California and you have free reign, believe me, all you drinkers out in California, be grateful for what you have, because like I either have to like search for it, I have to go to like this Oregon website to find all the different liquors, or I have to go to a winery, which a lot of wineries will carry a very limited amount of other producers because they, of course, they want to showcase their stuff. And so, but it's very difficult. So when I hear all these different producers, I'm like, man, I got to definitely try or have some of my family try to send those bottles to me because it is so difficult. But yeah, I like what you're saying about all the different producers and what you want to do, what you want to get involved with. I know we are starting to get close to the ending of our time. But I always, you know, one thing that I got to say is, you know, Abraham, you're going to go very far. Just in our conversation, you have a lot of great passion, a lot of love. Love is important in this industry because it's so diverse, you know, as far as what's out there. There's so much. And so when you have a lot of love and passion for this industry, it makes it simple, makes it fun. Yeah, and you have that. Definitely. And you really showcase a lot of kind of like where our passions came from. I like that origin, and to see that fire, that flame. You know, some of us go, oh, it kind of dwindles out a little bit after because we have some rough days or whatever. But it's like to see that in you, that is great. But I appreciate your time, and I know like you're working later on tonight and all that. So I appreciate you making space for me and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. So as far as I know, we talked about the industry and where we like to see it go and how we want to role play in it. What would you say to a lot of these people in your place that are starting to hit that road, hit that highway, start their journey? What would you like to say to them, like as far as inspirational? What would you like to give them?
I will just tell them to keep on going because it doesn't stop. It's seemingly endless, and there's so much history, there's so much beauty. There's so much passion, even from the side of the winemakers, that kind of sparks and gives you a different sense of drive when you see it from their perspective. So just keep on going, keep on diving deep, keep on testing wines, keep on studying, crack that book open, and and circle the regions you want to study, circle the regions you want to travel to. Just keep on going, and it's going to be worthwhile in the end. It's going to be totally worth it.
Absolutely.
Passion, man.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are joining us or, you know, that just joined on the conversation, please, if you get on top, if you click on top to that little arrow that says Breaking Bread with Corey, you could actually start, if you don't already, follow Abraham and his journey. And also, please give him your love and support. If you have any resources that you can drop to him,
yes,
this is important. Please. Yeah, for all the ambassadors. I mean, every one of us, we're constantly learning. That's the thing about this industry. You can never just put your shoulders down and just relax, because things constantly evolve. And that's the thing that's really great about this industry. But if you have resources and information that you can pass forward to him, please do offer him your support. For any of the new ambassadors out there, we need to do this, because they're going to be the ones that are going to keep the fire lit for us. They're going to keep knocking down the barriers, and they're going to keep things going, especially in areas that are so minute as far as even the natural vegan and biodynamic style of wine. This should be something that we should see on the shelf every day. Like there should be,
exactly,
as we have regions of France, Italy, and Spain in domestic New World, we should have a whole freaking section of natural, biodynamic, and vegan wine. Because there's so many out there. There's so many awesome producers. And, you know, keep on rolling your information to me, because if you have more information, I'd love to get what you're bringing on, what you're finding. Like I said, things are a little bit more isolated for me. I hate that. I was like, man, I had so much freedom when I was in California. But I love Oregon. Oregon is great. I love the outdoors. But yeah, I mean, we could all help each other out. We're all community here. We all need to support one another. And like I said, that's the way that we're going to progress and not take a step back.
Right.
So once again, thank you so much, Abraham, for your time.
Well, thank
for
you.
Your
thank
story.
you for having me. Thank you for having
Absolutely.
me.
And is there anything else you want? I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but if there's anything else that you want to say, I mean, I'd love for you to share it right now if you have anything to say.
Just to everyone who's a fellow lover of wine, just keep on doing what you're doing. I love to see it. I love to see it. It's I mean, everyone has their off days, or, you know, they're not really feeling up to it, but seeing you guys out there do your thing is really inspirational, and it kind of keeps that fire burning within me. So thank you guys, thank you all.
Awesome, and thank you all for joining Abraham and I. And like I said, if you don't follow him now, please do go ahead and click right on the top of the page. Follow Abraham at Waves of Grapes. Help him with his journey and help him with resources. We could all do our part. We're all part of community and support here. And this is the way we break down barriers, and we create this instead of this. So right. Absolutely, man. So thank you so much, Abraham.
Well, thank you.
Stay well, stay in touch, and we definitely got to do this again. I'd love to connect with you again and hear where your journey's going. That's the thing. I want to hear where you're joining, your journey's going, and stay connected. We got to do this.
Will do. Take care, man.
All right, sir. Cheers to you.
All right, cheers.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on Breaking Bread with Corey, and seeing this wonderful interview with Abraham. Just, you can see the fire and passion of what people like him are bringing to the industry. We need to support that. We need to embrace that. We need to celebrate that. And that, again, I can't say that enough, is going to help break down the barriers and make this industry bloom. We need to continue to make that bloom. And also, I really appreciate your support and your follow. And stay tuned. We have more ambassadors coming to you. I am really excited. And until next time, everyone, please stay well, stay safe, and drink lots. Cheers. Book.